So go for it.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Going Purple with me, Lissie Mackintosh, where we talk about serious F1 stuff in a not so serious way. Well, as you can see, we're in a very different location. We have taken the podcast global, which is such a dream for me to be able to say. We are here in Singapore, ahead of the Singapore Grand Prix with F1 Academy, and I am so excited to be here with Charlotte Tilbury. And this week, we are going to sit down with championship leader Abbi Pulling to discuss how her life has changed and how it will change even more if she wins the championship, whether she can make it to F1 one day, and so much more. So I'm going to leave you with this gorgeous view, and let's get into the interview. Ready?
I think so.
Well, everybody, welcome back to Going Purple. If you're watching on YouTube, then hello. I am so excited to be joined by F1 Academy star, Abbi Pulling. Abbi, how are you? We're in Singapore, by the way, I should mention. I actually don't feel like I am because I haven't been outside yet.
Yeah, the air conditioning room makes it much nicer, but I'm great. I'm enjoying being at Singapore. Obviously the food is amazing. The circuit, I'm so excited to drive around the circuit. It's a really, really tough street circuit. So it's a good challenge. And I'm just like, I'm getting giddy.
I like how you mentioned food as your first thing. Are you a big
foodie? I love Asian food. So
really? Is that your favourite at the moment?
I would say so. I would say any kind of sushi, noodles, ramen,
nice.
like beef that they do here is really nice. Like the broths and that. Yeah.
What's like the thing you order? After a race weekend, we know you like to get home promptly. What's the delivery order that's being ordered when you're in the car home?
Well, I live in the countryside, so I don't get a delivery.
No, seriously?
No.
Oh, that's my worst nightmare. I'm not much of a cook.
No, it's hard. But I would say I like a Chinese takeout.
Okay.
But I feel like a UK Chinese takeout isn't a proper.
They're
their
breed.
own thing. Yeah. But even like if I'm gonna watch a movie, I'll like have some Butterkiss popcorn.
Yeah.
You know, like this caramel crunchy.
That's good.
That's been my thing recently.
Nice.
That's been my cheat food.
That's like a nice comfort food.
Yeah.
Well, Abbi, obviously I have had the pleasure of getting to know you over the last couple of years. But for those listeners or viewers who may not know you as well, tell us a little bit about Abbi Pulling and also about your ladder in motorsport so far to get to where you are today.
Gosh, yeah. I'll try and do it as short form as possible.
No, take your time, we always.
But I started racing when I was 8 years old, but before that I was always at a racetrack. My dad raced on motorbikes, so I've always been a petrol head, begging him to go to the racetracks.
Oh.
Yeah, and then grew up watching Valentino Rossi, so I'm a big Valentino fan. And then what happened? Went in karting, really enjoyed it, went every weekend with my dad, really lucky to have him that was happy to commute for me, especially like after a week's worth of work and then on the weekends doing that. Progressed in karting to junior level and won 2 British titles.
Wow.
That's against mixed competition, so moved up into cars, did a bit of British F4, ran out of funding, so then I went into W Series.
Yeah.
And then, which basically, saved my career and also got picked up by the Alpine Academy. Went into F1 Academy with Alpine and Rodin Motorsport. And then F1 Academy being a championship has then also given me the opportunity to make a relationship with Rodin Motorsport. And now I've gone back to British F4, so mixed competition racing, paired alongside F1 Academy this year.
Wow, I mean, you've not just gone back to British F4, you've also just become the first woman to win in British F4, which is incredible. I'm actually surprised you didn't go down the motorcycle route.
You've got to be a bit insane. Like you've got to have a screw loose. Like people say that racing drivers have a screw loose, but any like rider, you can't end your career without breaking at least one bone. Like it's really.
Have you ever broken a bone?
I have actually in go-karting. I broke my wrist in my first junior race. Yeah.
Oh bless
I got driven over.
Just little Abbi, terrified.
I finished the whole race though. It was like really sore, and I finished the race.
With a broken wrist.
Yeah.
That tells you everything we need to know about Abbi Pulling. Actually, we could just end the podcast here. Well, no, that sounds like the most interesting, kind of difficult at times career. I think F1 Academy is really looked at also with the Netflix show, as just such a cool product and series. So how do you feel to be a part of something like that?
It's incredible. I mean, I get lots of young girls messaging me saying they look up to me, and I think it's so nice because I didn't really have that female figure growing up. Like I say, I was Valentino Rossi bikes, and it's nice to be that person for someone, because you've got to kind of see it to believe it. I was very lucky that my family were already involved in it, but if I didn't have my dad to kind of, you know, push me along, give me guidance, then I probably wouldn't have gotten into motorsport, because I wouldn't have known that could have been, you know, I could have done it. So yeah, being alongside the Formula One and what Susie's done, getting all the F1 teams involved as well, it's, I mean, getting 10 F1 teams to agree to something is an impressive feat on its own. I'm living, breathing proof that it's working, and hopefully keep going this season. We can try and get that prize for top spot, which is then the season funded for next year, which at this point in time is the aim, because like I say, I've had some struggles in my career at times, so to have next year secured would be a dream.
So, I mean, you are leading the F1 Academy Championship at this current moment. 3 races to go.
3 races, 2 races a weekend.
Okay, so my question to you mentioned there kind of the financial aspect of it and having that season covered, but how would winning the F1 Academy Championship change your life completely?
I mean, like I say, it would have just made the off-season a little less stressful. And a big thing in my career, obviously I've had a lot of support from Alpine and various other sponsors, Rodin cars, but before all that, I spent all of my time, like even in school, in like ICT, I'd be doing my sponsorship proposals, so I've done it all myself. So I learnt graphic design, I've done it all myself. And it ended up being to the point till I was about 18 and even into my 20s, it would take up too much time. I didn't have enough time to actually focus on my racing, because I was always so busy trying to raise funding, which was frustrating. Sometimes you ask yourself, you know, it's annoying because maybe some other drivers don't have to do that, but then at the end of the day I also put things in perspective and think I'm actually so lucky, because I've had so many opportunities, and there's so many people that are behind me, and my dream has kept going somehow. And like 4 years ago, I probably wouldn't have thought I'd be able to, you know, be sat here talking to you and racing at Singapore. So I think perspective is an important thing, and there's brands now like Charlotte Tilbury getting involved and pushing us girls to the forefront of everything. Oh, Abbi, you make me so proud. Seriously, I want you to one day find those graphic designs you made.
I have them. I have them all on my USB drive.
I want to see them.
Or I've sent them on email. Yeah, it was. I'd like livery up a car, and like I'd like put, you know, your return of income, like your ROI.
That is hard work.
Going to like company, and it's also hard because I was so serious about it. But as a 16-year-old girl going to like a multi-million-pound company and being like, invest into it. It's hard to be taken seriously. And as well, then COVID, it was hard to try and find any investment.
Yeah.
Because obviously the state, it put a lot of, you know, what's it called? I want to sound like really businessy right now. The economy, that's what I was trying to say. The state of the economy after that was really tough. Oh, God. But yeah, it was just teaching myself these things, and it's, you know, if you do it yourself, then it's actually cheaper than paying someone else to do it.
Absolutely, and I think the skills you've learned as a businesswoman as well, one day, you know, you might want to use them for something else.
Well, I've released my own merchandise.
Really? Just be a member of the economy.
I'm contributing.
And that's all we can ask of you. No, you are having an absolutely incredible season. You have won at least one race every race weekend, which is very different to last year. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think you won a race last year.
No, I didn't.
So, I mean, Abbi, what's changed? What has it been? Has it just been the physical training? How have you really managed to get yourself on such a roll where everyone's talking about Abbi Pulling now in terms of your results?
There's a lot. I would say, I think I've always said it was always in me last year. I think it was always there. It was just unlocking it and putting a weekend together. Like the first weekend I put it on double pole, you know, the speed was always there.
either it was my mistake or things out of my control that just a weekend never come together. And then I felt like I was chasing my tail all season after what happened in round one. You know, getting a penalty, which was really unfortunate, and again, which was fully out of my control.
Yeah.
I felt like I was chasing my tail, and I almost felt like I went every weekend with a little bit of desperation.
Okay.
And that's like an awful feeling like you're chasing your tail every weekend. So I kind of did a lot of work over the off season with my mental. Oh, there's someone at the door.
It's at the door. We're not expecting anyone.
Got a guess?
A what? Pest control? Jesus.
No, don't say that.
I swear that's what she said.
It's you.
Thanks. There's obviously been some complaints
scared
or something.
now.
No.
Right. Well.
Just see a rat running across the
No,
floor.
do you know that's my biggest fear? Rats or sharks. But
Sharks?
Sharks.
When have you ever seen a shark?
No,
Other than
but
behind a
imagine-
glass wall?
No, I have seen a shark one time in the sea. I freaked out. What's your biggest fear? Like truly terrified.
I'm going to say something really sad.
What
Like,
are you gonna say?
it's not a fear, but like I don't want to like disappoint people.
Oh.
Like, so
Shark. Disappointing.
as in like a lot of people have contributed to where I am now, so I don't want to let
I
them
get
down.
it. I understand. That's a much better answer.
Like
than mine.
wasted potential.
I get it. But I feel like, does that manifest for you?
Probably last year I felt like that.
Okay, back to last year.
Yeah. But anyway, what were we saying about last year?
You
I felt
you
like I
found it
was
hard you were chasing your tail a lot.
yes, chasing my tail, but over the off season I did a lot of work mentally. So I worked with a guy called Martin at Gazing Performance Systems, who works on your mentality and mental strength, and it's called red to blue. So if you're in the red, it's kind of an unproductive mindset. So you bring yourself back to the blue, and it can still be like aggressive and intense, but it's in a productive way.
Okay.
If that makes sense. And I always found the best I've driven on track is when I'm like teetering on the edge of the red. Like I'm really angry and like amped up.
Got it.
So it's about getting to that point without like being hit off and getting amped up, if that makes sense.
So it's a really fine balance.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of what we worked on over the off season was letting things go.
Okay.
Motorsport is really unique in there's more out of your control than what's in your control. So it's
Agreed.
about acknowledging that. So I'm like going into like a session with you.
No, I'm loving this. I'm like, tell me more.
So it's about acknowledging that, and then we say it's like a pen and you just let it go. And it's also, if something is frustrating you, don't give it your energy, like you acknowledge it, but don't give it, like if I say, don't think about pink elephants.
But now I'm just thinking about pink elephants.
Exactly, that's what we always
But how
say.
do you
So
just let something go? If someone's telling me to let something go, I can't do it.
So a big thing is make the situation not as big as, like, as in, we say it's like a circle and there's a circle around you. You want to be the big circle. You don't want to be the little circle.
Got it.
And then also, you kind of put it in perspective. Again, perspective is really big. Like you zoom out and you go, like, this one race, does it define my career? No. Like, it's about how I then go to the next race.
Got it.
And how I improve myself. That's what defines you and makes you better.
That. You talk about perspective a lot, which I think is so respectable. Yeah, I think it's highly respectable, especially at 21 years old.
Yeah.
To have that level and that mindset is incredible. And I also like the idea, and I don't know if this is something you've ever thought about, but for me, I find it important to think that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
If you didn't win that race, it wasn't meant to be. What did you learn from it, kind of thing? So I just add my own mental coaching here. Don't worry, guys. I do it all. I want to ask you a little bit about Charlotte Tilbury. Now, we know that they're the first beauty brand to come in and support you. Your powerhouses, really. Celebrate your strength, your determination. And I've seen that in my own ways manifest in the paddock. But I'd love to get your thoughts on how you've seen it and how it kind of empowers you throughout a race weekend to have the support of Tilbury.
I mean, it's incredible. Like, I don't think 10 years, even 5 years ago, we wouldn't have thought there'd be a brand like Charlotte Tilbury with a fully liveried car going around on the Grand Prix circuits. And I think it's quite a eye-catching livery as well with the lips. I think it's a big statement.
Yep.
And I love that. And obviously, I've met Charlotte, and I think she loves making a statement.
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
So I feel like in the past it wouldn't have seemed so natural, but it is such a natural partnership for her, which I think is amazing. It says how much, as well, like the business to women's sport kind of,
it's changing.
Yeah, it's evolving and it's improving, and just like so thankful that there's people out there that really see the benefit in it and really believe in us girls. And again, it then the younger girls watching are like, oh, like people are getting behind this and I can do it, which I always say, if it's not me that gets to Formula One, hopefully it's the little girls watching, or the girls that I'm racing against.
I love seeing the makeup stations in the paddock as well. It's something I never thought I'd see in a motorsport paddock, is women, whoever they are, whatever their jobs are, coming and getting their makeup touched up. And it's interesting, you mentioned the hot lips. I actually asked Charlotte about it. I was like, why the hot lips print? Why did you go for that one? And she said that it was a lipstick range she had created with lots of different powerful women. And that's kind of where it came from, is they each had their own lips design, and I loved that. But we have some products here. And I've pulled a few of some of your rumoured favourites. We're obviously in Singapore, it's boiling hot. So what are you using over a normal race weekend, and also over a weekend? Qatar will be very warm, Abu Dhabi as well. So what are some of your favourites over a race weekend?
So for a hot weekend,
I love
the hydrating mist is the best. It's also like, it's just so cooling.
Yeah.
It's so nice. It's like a little breath of fresh air.
No, I agree. And I'm like, everyone, give me your face, I have to spray.
I get really dry face, so I use my magic cream a lot.
You're a big skincare girl.
Yeah, I'm a skincare girl. If I'm doing some of my media, I'll put the mascara on, and when I've gone out at home, I'll put a nice lippy on.
Yeah, I like this one. This is nice. But I think underneath your balaclava and everything, it's just nice to have like a nice, clean, fresh kind of feeling, isn't it? And then you need to try these out as well.
Yes, you were saying.
These are perfect. I'm so jet lagged. I don't know about you, but these are amazing in the morning. So you definitely need to try these out. I have a question for you. You're 21, as we've well established. You started racing, as you said, at 8 years old, and you've been racing full time for a couple of years now, right? Did you finish school? Did you? Yeah,
so I was doing my exams whilst I was racing.
Oh, wow.
So I was in a championship called Ginetta.
Okay.
And I had to miss like Friday practice a lot because I was doing my exams, which is fine. A lot of the people that I was racing were a lot older. I went into college, so it was actually, because in the UK now you have to be in education till 18. I went to Loughborough College, and it was a Motorsport UK course, so it was specialised for racing drivers.
Oh, so you learnt more about like the technique, strategy, off track?
Yeah, more so we did sports science, so more about like the gym work and what the muscles are doing and parts of the body, and stuff like that. And then motor vehicle, so that's more about like the car and the clutch and how it works.
That's so cool. I didn't know you did that.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, so having said all of that, I feel like your life has been centered around motorsport for the best part of, let's say 10 years. Do you feel do you feel like you ever missed out on having a bit of a normal teenage life, going out with your friends, going to parties, going to university, if that's ever something you had wanted to do? Do you ever look back and think you missed out on that? Or do you think that it was replaced by something even better?
I definitely don't think I missed out. Okay. I think I definitely had my like school friends and I had my racing friends. So it was a whole, it was like two worlds.
Yeah.
And
Hannah Montana.
Yeah, it literally, I'd like take my wig off.
You look a bit like Miley, actually.
No, I don't. Like, so when, it was really weird when my family, and for my 21st, my family and like my racing friends, they all got, like, we all had like, I had a surprise party, and it was so weird seeing them all in the same room. It was like two worlds colliding. But when I was in school, a story that I remember that makes me giggle when I look back was, I'd never really go to any of the parties because I'd be racing at the weekend. And there was one party that were like, oh, you can miss it for just one weekend. You race every weekend. Like this one, just miss it once. Like, they didn't really get it. And it was the finals for the British Championship, like to decide whether I'd like win or lose the championship. I was like, yeah, I'm really sorry, but I can't miss this one. It was, and she was like, why? I was like, it's an important one.
I think it's actually really good to have friends though that have really no idea what you're doing.
Yeah,
they ground you so much.
Yeah, definitely. I would say my life was still really like pretty normal. Okay. Like I don't know, it's not normal because I'm a racing driver, but I went to public school and I had my friends, and I don't know,
have that balance.
Yeah, I do normal things.
Yeah, that's nice. And now, I mean, you have to kind of bring some of that normality, I'm assuming, with you. Traveling so much, under so much pressure as well. I don't think that's talked about enough. How do you do you travel with a team? Are they the ones that are keeping you at some kind of peace throughout the day, throughout the weeks?
Well, obviously I've got my race team, Rodin Motorsport, and I get on really well with my engineer. So you work closely with your engineer and your mechanic, and I've got a really good relationship with them.
Okay.
And then my kind of closer team, more down to my own performance, is obviously Alice Powell, my manager, Connor, who's like make sure I'm hydrated, like make sure I'm eating well, and like does my workouts and warm-ups. And then Kate, who's sat in the corner. So Kate looks after all my media. I get quite a lot of requests on the weekend, so she helps keep me sane and make sure I'm in the right place at the right time, because it's actually, we're almost treated similarly to what the F1 drivers get, because we're so requested. Yeah. And I'm terrible for like timings. Yeah. So I need someone to keep me in order. So that helps a lot.
That's great that you have such a close-knit kind of bubble around you that's just keeping you supported, keeping you feeling light and good, keeping you on time.
Yeah, I'm really lucky. I never thought I'd have like my own little team.
Yeah.
It almost feels weird to say I've got people here for me.
It's so important to have the team around you that you trust. And that you can go to for a second opinion on something. What's something that you've learned from the people closest to you? Maybe that's your family, maybe that's part of your team, that you would want to pass down to a younger driver if you were ever in that position?
Well, in relation to pressure, I'd say that pressure is a privilege. I think if you've got pressure on you, it's only because you're doing something well.
Absolutely.
So just keep doing what you're doing.
I love that you said that. That is actually what I wrote down. One of my questions. They say pressure is a privilege.
Is that actually what you
say? Abbi says, directly from Abbi Pulling.
I've not read that. I swear I've not read that before this.
No, I think it was Billie Jean King that said that. No?
Is it?
I think so, because they have it on the US Open, like the walkout where the players come out.
Maybe I've like subconsciously noted that down in my head. It was actually Alice that told me pressure is a privilege.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think your relationship is so sweet, and just the fact that you've worked so closely together for so long. I actually thought about that in terms of, I was going to ask, pressure is a privilege, as we know. But
how many more times can we get that in?
Okay, if you can get it in one more time. Do you feel any pressure? Sometimes I think as women in motorsport, we have a pressure to not only do our jobs, but also to talk about the fact that we are women in motorsport. Do you ever feel the pressure to speak up for the next generation of women? I mean, I'm assuming you want to do it anyway, and you have so much passion for what you do, but is there ever a pressure you feel?
I think like in the past I think I put the most pressure on myself. So that's been a big thing that I've tried to stop. But I think as women's sport as a whole has gotten bigger, women's motorsport has gotten bigger because of the likes of F1 Academy.
Yeah.
Then there's more eyes on us, and then there's more people that have things to say about it. And I feel like when there's more eyes and people that have their opinions, it's more frustrating than pressure, I would say.
Okay.
It's people that are being more critical in that regard. But then as well, everyone's expectations of us, because we're all in the public eye, is like to do this and that. And yeah. I don't really know how to like articulate it how I want.
No, I think that's a very honest answer. Like, it's also something you don't get taught to be in the public eye in any form. You don't get taught to. You say more eyes come in, also more mouths, like more opinions, but also more ears, like more people are listening to what you say as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's maybe not even a pressure, it's just something you just have to
be aware of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, Abbi, you are amazing. I really think you are.
Thank you.
And, if you continue the way you are, who's to say you won't make it to F1? I mean, do you ever let yourself think, one day I might be in F1?
I wouldn't say I think about it too much. I don't like to get ahead of myself. I think because I've my career's nearly ended a few times because one reason or another, and I've not known where I was going to be the following year. Yeah. So I don't get ahead of myself. I just focus on the next step. Like at the moment, it would be an absolute dream to drive in bigger machinery and move up the ranks. I probably sidestepped a bit the last couple of years. So I'm like, I said this to someone the other day, I'm like giddy to drive something with a bit like with downforce.
I get
because you. It's so, I've had a taste of it in the past. I drove an FIF3 car 2 years ago.
How was that?
I'm so jealous of people that get to do it all year round. It's so much fun. I mean, I love what I do as well now, but I've had a taste for it, and I'm like hungrier than ever to get an opportunity to drive something bigger and faster always. So.
Hungrier than ever. I love that. I love that so much. So you saying you want to drive heavier machinery, but I have a question, which is, what's one track you've always dreamed to race at?
Gosh, I think there's loads of tracks that I really like. I think this track.
Okay.
I think this is a track that I've looked forward to the most this season. So Singapore, I've driven it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Very lucky to have driven it already, and it was so much fun.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. I think tracks like Australia, like the other end of the world, that would be so cool to drive.
Yeah.
I've never driven Hockenheim.
Okay.
I don't know why, I just love Hockenheim.
A lot of drivers say that actually.
It's just really flowing. It's just got a nice vibe to it.
Nice. What's been your favourite place you've visited for your job?
When I went to Mexico for the Grand Prix, I then went to Cancun.
Oh, beautiful.
And that was beautiful. Like the sea was like, it's like what you see on like Pinterest. It was so perfect. I was like, I'm here in real life.
You need to share your Pinterest board with us.
I don't really have one.
Mine are really
It's
bad.
just like some like bedroom stuff, how I want my bedroom to look, and then like...
Yeah, but mine is... I didn't know, I was making them in 2013, but I have a bedroom board from 2013.
No way!
Actually, I need to like make that private.
Yeah.
It's like palm trees everywhere. Awful. Awful behaviour.
Were you one of them girls that wore like the seashell necklace, like, you know, what are they called?
I was like...
They had a name, and they had like all the bottles. Visco girl? Is that the word? Do you know what I'm on about?
Did you just ask me if I was a Visco girl?
Is that what I mean? Is that am I saying the right thing?
I mean, I kind of was. I wore like I wore these little chokers. Always had space buns. It was really a bad time.
That phrase, I've not heard that phrase in like 10 years.
Girl. What's the equivalent now? What were you like when you were 13? Not a Visco girl.
I was a tomboy, really big tomboy.
The Visco girl and the tomboy.
Yeah.
10 years later. Well, my last question for you, Abby, is Charlotte Tilbury, they have a phrase, a very famous phrase, dare to dream. And it's so applicable to F1 and their partnership. But what does the phrase dare to dream mean to you?
I think you've got to push yourself out of your comfort zone, I think, is how I read it. And yeah, definitely at times I've had to do that in this sport, and you know, not just me, but I think any racing driver has to. So I think that also makes you better.
Yeah.
A common phrase that we actually use in racing is when you say, "Oh, I don't like how the car is; it's uncomfortable." You've got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. I think that's a big thing in motorsport.
I kind of think it comes back to what you said about more things being out of your control than in. Which is very tricky when your guys are so ambitious and you want everything to go well. But I mean, it is for you, and I'm so happy for you. I hope the end of this season goes well, although I kind of don't want you to leave F1 Academy, if I'm honest. But Abby, thank you so much. Good luck this weekend, and we'll see you soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, see you soon. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.